Alright everybody, I'm back. It's been a really long time since I've shot any type of video. In the meantime, we've moved. If you can look at my surroundings, in a totally different garage now. This one, the old garage, we'll start with the old garage, was a standard 2-car, 22-foot depth. So to even get my truck inside, I almost had to touch the back wall and the garage door, and it just wasn't working anymore. So we needed more space. So went and bought a new house, and we've been moving for the last several weeks. I've got this garage organized enough where I can get some stuff done out of the way and start moving forward. What's going to happen is the third bay of this garage will end up being kind of the new workshop space, and then the first and second bay are meant for storage. The vehicles will be over here, obviously. So that way, in the wintertime, we do get really bad winters here. Pull the vehicles in, and I can still have enough room to get some stuff done. Should work out great. Coming up plans though is now that we've been here, I think this is our second full week here, but so only the first one we haven't had people here. We've had people here the entire time moving. It's been very busy. We are going to build a garden shed, an actual true garden shed. I plan on a 12 by 16 barn style. So I'll have a build series video for that. But I do need to drop some trees to where that's going to go, and then do all the permit work and get that approved before that process can start. So I'm a couple weeks out from getting that done. But in the meantime, I do need to kind of get some stuff going. Eventually I'll build a workbench. Right now I'm using toolboxes and that type of stuff to set stuff on, to get stuff done. But I do need to upgrade a couple things. Let me grab it real quick. One of the things I'm going to need to build the shed is I got to use my circular saw, obviously, do a lot of stuff, cutting paneling projects out on the job site. I'm not very good at freehanding with a circular saw. Some guys are, I ain't them. So I've been using a door board for years. This old one it's a piece of, looks like 1x2 attached to 1/8 or 1/4 inch plywood. Make a door board. It's kind of tired, kind of worn out, and I am limited to 48 inches. It's all this guy is. I have a feeling with the 12 by 16, I'm going to need to cut longer with my circular saw than 48 inches. And plus, this guy's a little beat up. Been around for several years, so it's time to retire him. What we're going to do is we're going to make a new door board using my Empire straight edges. I've had these for years. They've worked great. I actually use them as a straight edge for the circular saw. But the trick with the door board is, so how I have to set up now for the Empire is I have to clamp it in place 5 1/16 of an inch away from my cut line. So if I want to cut here, this has to be mounted 5 1/16 inch away. It's not the end of the world to have to measure that every single time. It does slow me down. So how a door board works is you're going to put the door board on your cut line, and then the saw is actually going to ride against this edge. So this is a perfect every time. So we're going to combine the two. We're going to take the door board, or the straight edges here, and use them as my fence and make a new door board. So I have a pretty simple setup here to get this project done. I am on a set of sawhorses, and I am also on, I can't do it without lifting it, it's 2-inch thick, the pink styrofoam insulation stuff that I'm going to be cutting into. That way I'm not cutting into my sawhorses, and my top's a little more stable here. So not super stable, but it'll be enough to get this job done. So let me get set up and kind of bear with me here. We'll try to make this as quick and painless as possible. So my first step is going to be locate where I want my screws to go in the Empire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a flathead machine bolt through the actual quarter board, through the Empire, and then it'll be bolted in on the top. So I need to locate where I want my screws to be. Now I'll use my combination square to do that. Let's see here. Why don't we run that off the edge that I plan on cutting? So we'll put them right in the center there. And we'll mark these all on the back side. One other thing I do need to do is measure lengthwise where I want them. So we will bring them. I have enough screws that I can bring them in 1 inch and then in the middle. So 24.5. I have 5 screws total. That's 12, let's go 36. 12 and 1.5. That sounds about right. Okay, math for today. It's my first project being here, so I'm not able to do math very well. Bring that in a quarter. That's okay. That's close enough. Find more marks. Sorry, you can't see my pencil marks real well. I can see them just fine. Okay. Now I need to find about the center of that. It will be yay. And now I need to, you guys see me use this, it's spring punch, mark the intersection of each of those. And I get to start the drilling. Now these are aluminum, so they're real easy to cut. I am going to still step up bits just because I like to do that in the metal. I don't like drilling to full size the first time, so start with something small. We're going to work our way up. That one's got the connector. I got to get that out of the way. So what this piece does is it connects and aligns the two empires together. So it's a piece of track here. And you tighten it down as one piece. And now you have an 8-foot one. Now we'll step this up and see where we're at. We have to see what size hole do I need for this guy. 1564. All right, holes are made. Perfect. Be careful wiping off metal shavings. You may get some in your hand. So, all right. Now the next step will be mounting the trim to this, the straight edge here to this. So what we're going to do, use a couple clamps, get it lined up about where we want it. And it doesn't matter if this backside's perfectly straight. I mean, I can see that even though this is a factory edge, it does have a little bow versus the straight edge. It's not going to hurt anything. And then we're just going to drill through for our screws. I probably should put a block on the back of that so I don't blow it out. I don't have any short blocks here. Worst part about moving is I'm using kind of temporary stuff. So that's why I don't blow that out. And get a clean hole all the way through. Let's start. Well, let me show you one issue that I've got. The one-inch hole there is right on the edge. So I didn't take into the account that the piece of aluminum is actually 50 inches long, or 59 inches long. So I really should have brought those in, well, inch and a half, 2 inches. Oh well, too late now. So what am I going to do? Re-drill the hole. It's not the end of the world. Actually, I could probably clean that block to and do it all at once. That's the thing of beauty. Let me grab my countersink. Because now what we need to do is we need to actually come from the bottom of the plywood and countersink the heads of these bolts so that they are flush with the wood. Let's see here. That gonna be enough? That one's not gonna be enough. I gotta use my big countersink here. So I'm trying to be real careful. I don't want to blow out the plywood, because by the time you countersink it, there isn't a whole lot there holding this together. Again, it's not structural, so it doesn't have to be the strongest thing on earth. It just has to be. So now, let me cut these bolts back, or do a little rearranging here so that my board's back on my foam, because this part here actually is hanging off quite a bit. So give me a few minutes. Alright, so the next step will be tighten our bolts down. I'm going to use a wrench from a drill. Well, that one ain't tight. Now you can take the clamps off. Now I don't want these big old nuts or bolts sticking out, so we're just going to lop those guys off. Use any method you want for that. I only use that because I can't find my cutoff wheels and stuff. None of that stuff's unpacked. I'm just going to come back with the file and deburr that. Now eventually I'm going to have to grind these down below where that holder is going to hold it. Because this has to be able to slide freely, and I can't do it because it's hitting those. So I'll get those taken care of when I find my grinder or the cutoff wheel and stuff, and we'll try to fix those. Now on to the noisy part. I'm going to set my circular saw to just below the board. And now we're going to cut this out. So I'm going to use this as my fence. And I'll put my safety glasses on before I cut. And now we have a brand new door board, a metal fence. So all I got to do is, let's say I want to cut 4 inches off that, so I'll mark for 4, I'll mark for 4, put this guy on there, clamp it down, and then real easy. So I just have to repeat this for the other piece. Except this time, because this hangs out that extra inch, because it's 49 inches versus the 48 of the board, I'm going to make sure that's on the opposite side this time. So I'm going to flush the one up. Oops. See if I can make sure I do this right. Flush the one. And then I'll have to come in and re-drill this hole in this end. That way, when this is all said and done, these can't butt up together to make one 8-foot long door board. I'm just going to repeat this exact same process. I'm not going to videotape it or anything. We'll try to make this video pretty short and sweet. And I'll be back when it's all done. Alright, so my door boards are done. Ta-da! So what's really cool about doing it this way instead of the old one is I now have a 48-inch door board I can use for going across plywood to help break it down. Or if I need to, I can attach them together. And I now have a 96-inch door board. Something that I don't need very often, but when I do, this thing will come in very, very handy. Be able to break down large sheets of goods before I take them to the table saw. So I'll leave it at that. If you guys want to build something similar, it's this is the Empire straight edge system. They can be gotten at a lot of big box hardware stores, those type of things. Other brands probably make something similar. And this is just a 1/4 inch sheet of floor underlayment. So it'll last the next several years. And then when the boards get so old that I can't use this anymore, I can just unbolt the railing and do it again. And just continue. All right. Like and subscribe. I know I'm not real good with getting videos out on a regular basis. The whole move has turned our entire world upside down. There'll be a lot more videos coming as time goes on. So thanks for watching.